Hi, this is Dr. Ilan Simkis, Fertility Partnership. It is May of 2022 and the world is changing. The economy is looking hard. So many things happening in the world. But one thing that is constant is the desire for people to have children. And unfortunately, lots of people struggle to have babies. And they need some sort of advanced reproductive technology to help them make a baby. Last year, between 2 and 3% of all the babies were born from what is known as in vitro fertilization, which is, I want to call it test tube babies. I wouldn't, but it is advanced technology. Now, this is an expensive process, and those of us who care know that the price of IVF is too high. Fertility Partnership came into being over a decade ago to try to combat that expensive IVF without lowering the quality. And that's what we've achieved. So there's a technology, and it's called Invocell. And it's been around for a long time. In fact, I was involved in a study in 2006 looking at it. What's the idea? Well, the idea is that the laboratory is what's most expensive, and if we can eliminate the laboratory, we can bring down the cost of IVF. So along came a gentleman named Dr. Renew, and he invented something called Invocell. Here it is. Basically, we get to avoid the lab with this. We take eggs out, we stimulate the woman, we take out the eggs, we take sperm. We actually inject the sperm into the eggs like we do with traditional IVF, put them in this device. What does that mean? Well, the embryologists take it with a certain amount of fluid, it goes into this little guy, and it gets dropped in here. And then we take this capsule, and the capsule then gets put into the woman's vagina. It's the right temperature. After 5 days, sometimes 3, we take it out and we pour the embryos on a slide and we put 1 or 2 of the beauties back in. The advantage, we don't need the lab. And this brings down the cost of IVF. Is it successful? Yes, it is. And it's gotten more successful. So why haven't you heard of it? Why isn't it popular? Well, the answer is probably a little bit more complicated. Part of the reason why is, well, it's not for everyone. Who's it for? It's for people who we understand why they're not getting pregnant. The tubes are tied, the sperm count is low, the man had a vasectomy, PCOS. There are lots of, I would say most fertility problems can be treated with Invocell. Situations where I would not want to use Invocell, well, first and foremost is unexplained infertility, where there's normal sperm, normal eggs, regular periods, tubes are open, and the person's still not getting pregnant. Well, we want to see under the microscope how those embryos are growing. So that's someone who I would discourage and not really want to do Invocell. The other group are people who need to do genetic testing on their embryos. What does that mean? It means that we have to take the embryos and grow them all the way out to day 5, and then we biopsy them. We biopsy them and we take out a few cells and we can tell you if there's a specific disease that we're looking for. Is the embryo normal, have the right complement of chromosomes, there's no Down syndrome, etc. That's when I wouldn't want to use Invocell. Why? Because with Invocell, we're not trying to make as many embryos as we can. We're trying to make, 2 or 3. And that's why there's more savings, because we don't use massive amounts of drugs, which are, as those of you who have been through IVF know, that that's a major component of the expense of IVF. So why are we not doing more Invocell? Well, here's the darker part of the story. The reproductive endocrinologists, or the doctors who really dominate the field of IVF, don't like it. Why? Well, part of it is because you like the control of being able to see how the embryos are developing, but another part of it is because it's a fraction of the cost of regular IVF. And the thought is, if we do more IVF, it's going to cut into the higher end cases. That's not our problem here at Fertility Partnership and those other programs that are here to help as many people as possible. We like the idea that the cost is coming down. It doesn't scare us. Why? Because we don't do anywhere near the amount of IVF that we should do. In Europe, they do 5 times more per capita, meaning in a given population, we do maybe a fourth or a fifth, some people think more, less than that, of what they're doing in other countries. Why? Well, because in those countries, the government is paying for IVF. In our country, you pay out of pocket in most states. So that's why you haven't heard much about Invocell, and that's why it's not popular. But at Fertility Partnership, we perform Invocell, as there are other centers around the country that do. And I think that in an economy that seems to be struggling, and the desire for babies is eternal, biblical in size and nature, I think Invocell is going to grow. If you'd like more information about Invocell, give us a call, and we will be happy to meet with you and talk with you about it. There are a lot of innovative things that we can do with it, with the device, and we're excited to get people involved and have people make babies. This is Dr. Ilan Simkis, Fertility Partnership in St. Peters, Missouri. People do fly in from around the country to see us. Don't worry, we can handle you. If you're from California or the East Coast, we can take care of you and provide you with IVF Invocell at a fraction of the cost. If you want to know how much, visit our website. Peace.